Hello everyone, I am back here to make another video with you. In this video, we're going to be making a natural vegan eyeliner using these pencils right here. So what you're gonna need is some empty eyeliner pencils. So as you can see, if you can, there's nothing in them. With some nice caps. And again, you're gonna need measuring tools, so you can use either teaspoons, half teaspoons, you can use a scale, whatever's gonna be easier for you. Again, I do like this scale because it helps me weigh it out in grams, which is usually what I'm using. Now, I do not have an eyeliner holder, so what I'm gonna be using today is the same chapstick holder I used in the last video, but instead, I'm gonna stick the eyeliner pencils in it, and that way I can fill them up and they're not getting too messy and getting all over the place. I also use, to fill up the pencils, because as you can see they're a very tiny hole, I actually use a syringe, which we're gonna open now. That allows me to be able to pour in, which you will see at the end of the video, to each tube. The idea obviously is to get them all the way filled up as fast as possible while they're still hot. So let's get to the ingredients. All right. Okay, so in this recipe, we're going to be using shea butter. It is going to be either 1 teaspoon or 5 grams. We're going to be using coconut oil, which again is 1 teaspoon, but in coconut oil, it is 4.5 grams because the weight of them is different. Now we're also going to be using the same wax we did last time, which is the candelilla wax. So it's not beeswax, it's a plant-based wax. And this is also 1 teaspoon or 2.5 grams. We're going to be using a teaspoon of bentonite clay or 3.6 grams. And then we're going to be using activated charcoal to make it black because we're making a black eyeliner. Now this is 3 teaspoons of activated charcoal. Now we're also going to be using a ½ teaspoon of jojoba oil. I think I said that correctly, but if I didn't, you know what I meant. Jojoba oil. So these are the ingredients we're going to be using to make the natural eyeliner. So we're going to actually get started. So again, we start by using our double boiler, water in the bottom, pan on top, putting it at about a medium heat you want to use to get it started. I like to let it heat up before I put the product in. We are going to be starting with the shea butter. And like I've said in the other video, if you do not have a double boiler, you can always stick a glass bowl inside a pot with some water at the bottom of it to help you melt the ingredients. Just not making the water too high so that water doesn't get into the product. You don't want water to get into your oil-based product because it will shorten the lifespan of the product and have a better chance of growing things like mold or bacteria on it. Okay, now that we've let it heat it up a little bit, we're putting the shea butter in. And like I said, this was 1 teaspoon. Now, the shea butter does take a little bit to melt, so we're going to allow this to melt before putting in the second ingredient. All right, and now we're going to add the candelilla wax. You just always have to remember you want to do butters, waxes, oils, powders, and then any kind of essential oil on the cool down process. All right, so we'll let all the candelilla wax melt inside of that. I like to make sure that I mix the candelilla wax all throughout the oil, allows it to melt. And then I want to make sure that all the little yellow pieces get melted completely before adding the other ingredients. Now that all the wax is melted, we're going to add the coconut oil in.
So smooth.
Okay. We're going to be adding the jojoba oil right inside of there as well. The oil is actually mixed really fast, so what we're going to do is we're going to tilt the lid a little bit this way so that all the oil actually starts melting. Ooh, not like that, like that. Make sure you get it in there and hold it. There we go. So now all the oil is actually going to melt down into the bottom of it, which is going to allow me to add the bentonite clay and mix it thoroughly in. And then I want to be able to add the charcoal in and mix it thoroughly in. But I have found over trial and error that it is a lot easier to get them stirred in when you melt everything to one corner. All right, so we're going to be adding in the bentonite clay. Here, you can use a stick to get all the crumbs out.
This gets solid.
Yes. There we go.
I did it.
Yep. All right, let me see that stick because we're going to stir it in. Let me get that stirred in really well. Okay, so as you can see, I have stirred in all the bentonite clay, and now we're going to be adding the activated charcoal.
Sorry, I tried.
No, you're good. Just get it in there, and then we're going to mix it in really well. Okay, now a lot of times you do have some stuff left over and then some at the bottom. So it does not only have to be made into a pencil, you can actually put it into a tiny jar. My suggestion when you're putting it into a tiny jar is to add a little bit more coconut, not a lot, just enough to kind of help melt in the sides and everything else. We're going to stir that in nicely. Let me turn it back to me. Okay, now that I got that nice and stirred in to the rest of the charcoal that was left in there, as you can slowly see, it's starting to liquefy a little bit more, and we're draining it to the bottom. I am actually going to be using this little jar that I have right here with a cap. Now, this is another way to get your eyeliner, and with this you would just use it with a brush. So there's more than one way to actually make the eyeliners. So if you prefer a pencil, you can use those. If that's a little too difficult, get yourself a little glass jar. Okay, so we have allowed the natural vegan eyeliner to cool down. After it has cooled down, you're going to want to take a dry cloth, paper towel. I cut them up into little pieces, and you're going to want to clean the edges and the top off of any excess. And so when you're done, you have a nice smooth surface, and you're going to do this with all of them. Wipe them off, clean them up, grab a new paper towel. Just to show you what I mean a little bit better, this is one that had a little spill off when we were putting it in. So I just take the paper towel and it comes right off of the sticks. So Once that is completed, I would put the cap on it. But for this demonstration, I'm actually going to show you how you would sharpen it, and I'm going to also show you what it would look like. Okay, now I have cleaned the rest of them up. I'm going to put caps on the ones that I'm not using right now. All right, so now these are all capped off and put on the side. This is actually a pencil that had already been sharpened down. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to do. So I actually like using a lid I have that is a sharpener. Very simple. A little bit more. Love brand new eyeliner. What's even better is that it is completely natural and completely vegan. Now I love this eyeliner because it definitely is good for my eyes. It does not burn my eyes or sting my eyes that other products had previously done in the past. So I definitely enjoy using this. Is this waterproof? No, it is not. But I also don't plan on being out in the rain with my makeup or crying. So that is your pencil completely sharpened. Now let's use it on something. I brought this white card, little index card out. Move the scrums. So, as you can see, it's a pencil. Now, for the other ones that we made, this was the one that we added a little bit more coconut oil to, and then I put it in a little glass jar. So for those of you who like to paint your eyeliner on, this would be ideal for you. Or for someone who just doesn't want to take the time to fill the sticks, they can be annoying. This is another way you can use that vegan natural eyeliner. So we're going to close this one off, but I am going to show you from the spill off that we had left over. I put it in another jar because you don't want to waste anything. I can use this later. It's a paint. We're using a little stick. I mean, obviously you would use a brush, but for this demonstration, I'm just using a wooden stick. All right, and that is the line we made right there. No one said I can make a straight line all the time. I hope you enjoyed making natural vegan eyeliner with me today. If you know anyone else who'd be interested in making their own natural vegan liner from home, please share it with them. And if you enjoyed this video, like it down below, and also leave me any comments or recommendations about any other products that you'd like to see me make going forward, or anything else that you would like to say. I definitely enjoy reading them, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for other videos coming out soon.